Welcome to the Cup of Joe Wrestling Show.
Cup of Joe Wrestling Show?
With Joey Harris. A podcast for the wrestling fan on the go. So take your favorite beverage of choice and join Joey as he takes a look at some of the biggest shows on the WWE Network.
From makeshift studios deep in the heart of stately Maine Manor, this is the Cup of Joe Wrestling Show. I am your host, Joey Harris. Folks, we are smack dab in the middle of September, and here in Maine, I don't know about where you are, but here in Maine, it is starting to get cold. We have temperatures that dip down in the 40s or even the 30s at some times at night, and went camping this past weekend, and at night, it was freezing. And I've come to realize something, that whenever we set out to do something, if my wife gives me something to do, she gives me a step-by-step direction, because I think she thinks I'm limited. Like I have limited capabilities. And if she doesn't spell it out for me, then I'm lost. So, whatever that's worth, your mileage may vary. Today we look at Clash of the Champions 8 from the NWA and WCW. Clash of the Champions 8 Fall Brawl 89 took place on September the 12th, 1989 from the Carolinas Coliseum in Columbia, South Carolina. There were 2,600 people in attendance, and the show did a 4.7 rating on TBS. This show was used to build the first ever Halloween Havoc pay-per-view in October, so as I record this, it was 31 years ago yesterday. We start with our Clash opening credits and theme. We then flash back to the end of the Great American Bash pay-per-view. Jim Ross and Jim Cornette are your announcers for the evening. They talk about the rumors that have come up about Gary Hart's camp. Gordon Soley interviews Gary Hart. He denies that there are any problems with his group. The Samoan SWAT team, Samu and Fatu with Paulie Dangerously, versus the Road Warriors, Hawk and Animal with Paul Ellering. Animal goes wild on the SST to begin. The SST roll out and Animal follows them. The Road Warriors are dominating early. Hawk hits the post at one point, the SST then coming back. Hawk finally tags and Animal cleans house. The Road Warriors get Paulie's phone and hit the SST with it, and then hit the Doomsday device for the win. Ellering then destroys the phone. The SST then leave Paulie behind. Paulie goes on for the next taping and cuts a Danger Zone promo that Ric Flair didn't like, and he fires Paulie at the next TV taping. So Paulie is gone from the NWA for a few months before being brought back in 1990. Halloween Havoc promo follows this, and then we get the Cuban Assassin versus Tom Zink. This is Z-Man's WCW debut match. A little sloppy, but it's a good outing by Zink. He wins with the sleeper. We then are shown a video of Governor Carroll Campbell announces that it's Ric Flair Day in South Carolina. He also uses the term sports entertainment. Ranger Ross versus Sid Vicious with Teddy Long and Dan Spivey. Vicious throws Ross out, then he throws him back in again. Vicious hits a DDT, then a whirlybird, then a powerbomb to win the match. This is just brutal. We then have a feature on Robin Green and Missy Hyatt going shopping. Gordon Soley interviews the fabulous Freebirds. They say they are sick and tired of getting no respect. We then have another Halloween Havoc promo. NWA World Tag Team Championship match. The fabulous Freebirds Michael Hayes and Jimmy Garvin versus the Steiner brothers Rick and Scott with Missy Hyatt and Robin Green. This is the Steiner brothers' first ever shot at a World Tag Team title. The crowd digs the Steiners. Hayes and Scott have some awkward opening moments. The Steiner brothers dominate early. It looks like they're going to dominate the entire match. Rick then hits the corner post at one point, and the Freebirds take over. Garvin hits a DDT. Garvin gets some close pin attempts. Scott gets tagged in and hits the Frankensteiners on both Freebirds. Scott gets whipped into the ropes and gets tripped, and Hayes hits the DDT for the pin. Scott points at Robin Green, and Rick points at Missy Hyatt. It is later revealed to be Robin Green, who then takes on the persona of Woman, who would later go on to manage Doom in a feud with the Steiner brothers. Norman the Lunatic with Teddy Long versus Brian Pillman. Norman jumps Pillman before the bell. Pillman hits a suplex, then does a clothesline from the top rope, then a crossbody onto Norman on the outside. Norman then comes back. Norman hits the outside post after Pillman moves. Pillman hits a drop kick from the top rope, then Pillman wins with a crucifix. Gordon Solie then talks to Gary Hart, who says Terry Funk is in the building. Mike Rotunda versus Steve Williams. They start brawling immediately and then trade the advantage. Rotunda uses the ropes for leverage. Rotunda then attacks the eyes with his fingers. Williams makes a comeback. Rotunda misses a charge. Williams goes for a slam. Rotunda holds onto the ropes. The referee sees this and kicks Rotunda's hand away, and Williams rolls through for the pin. Rotunda attacks after the pin. Gordon Solie interviews Lex Luger. He is a classic heel here, and he says he is the showpiece of the NWA. Another Halloween Havoc promo. NWA United States Championship match. Lex Luger versus Tommy Rich. Rich looks to be in tremendous shape here, and Luger is at the top of his game. Cornette runs down Rich's accomplishments. They keep talking about Gary Hart and Terry Funk to explain what is going to happen during the main event. Rich goes for several quick pins. Luger comes back. Rich won't give up. Luger can't get a pin. Luger misses a clothesline and it goes outside. Rich still won't stay down. Luger hits a superplex. Rich comes back and gets several 2 counts. Luger hits a hangman and pins Rich while Luger is through the ropes. He literally falls on Rich to pin him. Gordon Solie again interviews Gary Hart, who has a certified letter from a doctor about Funk. They then show a video of Funk taken a few days prior from a hospital bed. This is a legitimate injury that Funk had suffered. Gordon Solie then talks to Ric Flair and Sting. They are ready for whoever tonight, and no matter what, they are not backing down. It's time for our main event. The Great Muta and Dick Slater with Gary Hart versus Ric Flair and Sting. Flair and Sting are accompanied by 2 women who look like they would rather be anywhere else other than where they are. The announcers talk about all of the bad blood between all of the competitors. Sting with the advantage over Muta starting out. Flair comes in and opens the chop house on Muta. Slater comes in doing his best Terry Funk impersonation. Flair hits the over-the-top rope up top spot, so drink them if you got 'em. All 4 brawl outside. Sting has the advantage as they come back in. Slater and Flair going at each other hard. Slater hits a reverse neck breaker. Flair brutalized outside the ring. Double team on Sting. Sting hits the splash on Muta. Hart hits Sting with a roll of coins as he goes to put the Scorpion Deathlock on Muta. Muta then gets a 2 count. They can't get Sting down. It goes back outside. Sting reverses a Slater pile driver. Flair keeps the chop house open late. All 4 start brawling again. Muta gets disqualified when he sprays yellow mist in Sting's face. Slater hits Flair with his cast, busting him open. Terry Funk then comes in and ties a plastic bag over Flair's head. The announcers and many critics of wrestling and decency went crazy over this piece of business because it is not a good look. Sting's leg gets hit with the branding iron. The heels are officially disqualified. A lot is going on. They show Flair being worked on, and they say Brian Pillman came out and performed CPR on Flair. The credits roll as they sign off from Columbia. Hey, if you like this show, please leave a review in iTunes, Apple Podcasts, or your podcast platform of choice. There are a number of ways that you can contact me. You can follow the show's Twitter at CupofJoePod. You can email the show at cupofjoewrestlingshow@gmail.com. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at TheJoeyHarris. Thank you for joining me this week. This is Joey Harris saying so long from Stately Main Manor.
The Cup of Joe Wrestling Show is a production of Baby Kangaroo Media.